Twice a year, I look at my financial situation and decide what I actually need to survive, and I'll make a budget for my art business and also for my personal expenses. In this video, I want to talk about how I do that by using some examples and how I separate my personal expenses from my business expenses. My name is Roxy van Bemmel. I am an artist. I am a painter. I paint these large-scale oil paintings based on self-portraits because I never want to feel small again, and these paintings remind me that I can be huge. If you're interested in this topic, I have videos on my channel where I go into the details of how I make money as an artist. You can check them out here. I made one last year and the year before, and they go into my personal details. This one is more if you want to make an actual financial budget for yourself. If you're watching this and you have a monthly income from an employer, it's really easy to do this. You get a fixed amount every month in your checking account, and then you categorize those things into personal expenses, maybe business expenses, fun activities, and savings. If you are self-employed, however, that income is going to change every month and it becomes a little bit harder. It's kind of hard to see that big pile and then divide it into the months you have to live off that money and of that income. So that's what we're going to do here. That's what we're going to try to make a bit more comprehensible after this video. We're reversing the process, and instead of having savings after all the expenses are gone, we're gonna save everything. We're gonna deduct our expenses from that. This way, every month you receive the same amount of income and you're more in control of your finances. There are definitely different ways to do this and to organize your finances. For example, there's also the profit first method. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a little bit different, but for me personally, that doesn't really work since my income is so varied every month, and I'd rather know what is coming in the future and save up for the slow months as well. In this video, we'll budget for fixed costs like housing, studio rent, but also for fun things. The first thing that I would highly suggest getting, if you don't already, is a business checking account. So I have a personal checking account, and which I pay my salary to, and then I also have a business checking account, and that's separate from the personal one. Just because that way all your business income will go into your business account, and then you can divide that up however you want. So for my business account, I have a general account and 4 savings accounts. It depends on the bank that you are with. If you can do this, also this is for the Netherlands. I'm not sure how that works internationally. I have no idea. You could definitely do this like in an Excel sheet or something as well. It's just a lot easier if you could do it with your bank. I have a general account. Everything comes in there. It's just a big pile. And then I divide it into 4 savings accounts. So the first one is actually sales tax. Every invoice that I send, I have to apply sales tax. It could either be 9% for original art, or it can be 21% for a service. If we're working with companies, they don't mind it at all because it's deductible, so you'll get it back every 3 months. So I'll have to deduct it right away and put it in that savings account because that money is not mine. I'll have to pay it back every 3 months. So for example, if you earn 100 euros, then 21% of that 100 euros is tax. In this case, 100 is 121%, so we divide it by 121, then multiply it by 21%, which is 17.36 euros. Those 17 euros go right into my sales tax account. Then I have a taxes saving account. In general, a rule of thumb is about 15 to 30% of your total income to put into that tax account. But that's completely depending on your situation. That's also something that you should put aside right away. That money is not yours. It's just there being reserved. And then I also have a savings account. and that savings account is for something super specific. In this case, my laptop is dying. It's from 2013. I need a new one, but new ones are really expensive. So every time commission comes in that I did not expect, so I didn't expect that income to be there, I try to put that in that savings account. And that way that kind of adds up. But if I would have put it in my general account, it would have probably disappeared, honestly. And then the last one is actually your salary. And I like to have a separate account where there's maybe like 1 to 3 months of income there, just so it's not in the big pile and the big pile doesn't get too big. So you're thinking like, oh, I can survive forever. But I like to have like a little extra hidden money there. And it depends also if you have it and if you how much you have it, if you feel comfortable. You can access it anytime you want, but it's just nice to have the numbers be a little bit smaller, I think. Optional ones here could also be an account to save for student debt or to save for investing, whatever you want to add there and you want to keep separate from the big pile. Now, if I have all that set up, why do I want to pay myself an income every month? Well, that's because I personally would like to know how much I have every month, and I want to predict my expenses based on that. When I did not have this system, I used to feel a bit anxious about spending money on my business because it was all for my personal checking account. And every time I had to get paid, I felt it. But this way, since it's separate, the emotional attachment to that money is gone. It's more like, oh, the business is taking care of that expense. And in general, business expenses are a lot higher than personal expenses. I also don't feel any guilt about spending money that I receive every month as a salary, because I don't have to save it for a business expense because that's my salary. I can do with it whatever I want. I can spend all of it or I can save some of it. It may feel a little bit weird, but for me it works. And I especially like that my salary won't get less because I had big business expenses that month. Hello, a little break, new haircut as well. I have been working on this video series since last year. And I've decided to turn the scripts into a book. I've rewritten the script, so it's a lot more information, it's a lot more personal as well, and you really can read it as a book. I've decided to release this book in chapters, and the first chapter will be the creative chapter. Next to the book, there will be add-ons like questions you can ask yourself if you are just starting out your creative business that will hopefully help you. And also add-ons like articles that help me, books that I've read. In the financial chapter, it could be spreadsheets that help me a lot in organizing my business. All the things that come up with starting your own business. If you'd like to stay updated, you can enter your email address in the link in the description, and I will let you know as soon as it comes out. Thank you for watching this sponsored segment by myself, and let's continue with the video. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to use example numbers here. And let's start by using the fixed costs first. So fixed costs. This is the budget. Housing is probably your biggest cost. Let's say for housing, you're going to have to paying about 1,000 per month. And then you have utilities, which will also cost you 200 a month. Nothing we can really do about this. This is just fixed. There's a housing crisis everywhere, and unfortunately we're just stuck in our houses. Then the next one is health insurance. This is a tough one to generalize, as I know that's different for everyone else, but here in general you pay about $150 a month. Let's just say it's $150 a month, and then actually plus the other insurances as well, let's just say it's $180 a month. Then we have our phone bill. Phones are expensive, $50 a month. Then there's miscellaneous, and that could be music, YouTube Premium, streaming, and anything else that you have like a monthly recurring cost for. Let's say that is 30 a month, and then you do not have a lot of streaming services. And then there's groceries. And I'm putting these in fixed cost because you can kind of predict what you're gonna spend in groceries every month, especially if you budget for it. I think 200 is about right, especially if you're a couple and you're sharing costs. So as in total, you'd have like 400. If it's more, it could be more, but I think in general that should be enough. Then we're going to the variable costs. And the nice thing about this is that you can make the variable costs actually be fixed costs. So you're budgeting for them and you pay for the amount that you are budgeting for. So it's variable, but it's also kind of fixed. Let's see, then we have travel. Let's say I don't have to travel a lot and I don't have a car. So let's say that's 100 a month. I also don't know how much a car costs. So it's probably going to be a bit more if you do have one. And then another variable one is fun. Yay! And in fun, I'm gonna count in everything. So it's like eating out, it's drinks, it's sports, it's clothing, and it's gifting as well. Now you can think of any number that works for you here. I'm just gonna put down as an example, I'm just gonna put down 300 because I think every month that should be okay. But if you have like a really expensive sport, then this number is obviously gonna go up. And if eating out in your area is really expensive and you wanna go every week, then this number is gonna go up. I think this is the only real variable number that you have to put a price on. And you're really gonna have to see what that situation is for you. So everything above here adds up to 2060. So that's what we just need for the personal costs. Then we're gonna go to the business cost. I didn't really say, that's you. We're going to go to the business costs. These are a bit different because you can deduct them from your gross income. So your profit is going to get less because of the business costs. What I mean is your full income minus the costs is the profit, and you pay taxes over a profit. So it's not as if you buy more clothes that your gross income is gonna go down. No, but with business costs, if you're gonna buy a camera or something or anything else that you need for your business, the profit is gonna go down. So you're gonna have to pay less taxes in general. Again, I'm just gonna use examples. So imagine you have a studio. And let's say that studio is about 500 a month, including utilities and internet, etc. Then you have a bookkeeper. I have a bookkeeper because she does my quarterly, I don't know what it's called, quarterly taxes every quarter. And she also does my yearly taxes. And she's about 80 a month. And I think that sounds pretty reasonable for most bookkeepers or accountants. Then we have internet stuff. That does not mean our actual internet, but it does mean web shop, website, hosting, any other subscriptions you have for internet stuff, the boring stuff. Then let's say that normally you pay that once a year. It's not really once a month. So let's just say that comes down to 500 a year. So that would be about 40 a month. Then there is my checking account, and that's just my business bank account. Let's just say that is 7 a month. And the variable costs. So let's put it down like this. These are fixed. And these are variable. And the variable costs are everything that you need for your business. So it's paint, it's brushes, it's frames, it's a camera, it's I don't know, coffee for your kitchen in the studio, anything that falls into another category. It's really hard to predict, I think, but let's say it is about 200 a month. Honestly, I think that is really low, but let's just say it's 200 because we need to put down a number. Oh, I went wrong. I forgot one. I'm just gonna, this is gonna be the smart category. And the smart category is pension. If you want to retire at some point, you're gonna need a pension. And let's just say that that is 100 a month. It's also a business cost because normally your employer would pay this, but now we have to pay it ourselves. I think 100 is again quite low, but I don't save for my pension yet. I don't know the amounts. I am not in the smart category yet, unfortunately. And then there is another important one that I did look into, and that is insurance for disability. And I don't know if you have that in your location, but here that would be about 150 a month. But if you are in a risky career, it could be like 700 a month. It completely depends on your situation. I'm not in a risky category, and I also don't need a lot of money per month if I can't work, since I don't have my studio and I don't have my business costs. So for me, it would probably be about 150 a month. That all adds up to 0.77. So these are our business costs. And again, I forgot to put down, let's just put like a bag of money. Yay. If we add those two up, then we're gonna get 31.37 a month. This is the amount that you will pay yourself every month, because this needs to go into your personal account. This amount will stay in your business account, and you need to have this at least every month to pay for your business to exist. This is the total amount, but you split that stuff up because everything that you earn gets into your business account, and then from that business account you're paying yourself on the first every month, or whatever works for you, this amount. However, you need this total amount every month to survive. I have to add one more thing, since if you are making this your income goal, then you have to make sure you add the taxes to that. We made a separate savings account for 15 to 30%, but if you earn that amount per month, you need to actually make 30 or 15% extra on top of the costs that you have every month and the salary that you're paying yourself. I forgot to mention it in this overview, but it is really important because otherwise you're going to have a gap. One thing I'd like to add before, in case you are in an area that needs to pay sales tax, nothing you need to change in your personal account that has to do with sales tax. With your business account, keep in mind that you're getting back all the sales tax. So in case your studio is actually, let's see, without sales tax it's 500, so with sales tax it's 605. However, this you don't need to put in your budget. You do need to pay it, but you don't need to put it in your budget, because every quarter, at least in the Netherlands, you'll get it back. I don't know how that works with other countries. It might be that you get it back every year, maybe. But this is how it works here. So I keep this amount in my budget instead of this one. Now that we have that out of the way, I wonder how you feel. Maybe you've never made a budget before, or maybe you do it every time and this is just a little bit different. I really wonder how you feel. Like, does it make you feel small? Does this feel right? Does this feel like over your head? Because that's what I felt the first time I did. I don't like making the budget, but because it makes you see exactly what you have to earn every month. And sometimes that may seem a little bit high, but it's also a reality check, because if it does feel too big or too unreachable maybe, then you're gonna have to get used to it a little bit, because especially if you've done it for a few years and you've never made a budget before, you're probably going to be all right because you've done it already. And if it really doesn't feel right, then maybe shuffle it a little bit, maybe take some variable costs that can be a little bit less. I know there's a lot of costs, that fixed costs that you can't really do anything about, but you have to be comfortable with that number, because you're going to be paying yourself that number every month. Timing wise, good to pick a date. Personally, I pay myself on the 1st of every month, because that's when my mortgage gets paid, it's when my phone bill gets paid, my insurance, all the fixed things are just gone the 1st. So I have this bigger pile of money, but then it's only there for a day because all those fixed costs are gone, and then I can see right away what I have left. There are other variable costs that I have. I might actually put that amount in a separate savings account just so I can grab that money whenever I need it and I don't accidentally spend it on something else. I haven't said anything about savings or investments so far, especially that last one is a new topic entirely. That's because everything that comes in, you kind of automatically save. Because you pay yourself a fixed amount, your business expenses are pretty much fixed, and then all the rest is just savings, especially because you put your sales tax and your taxes and whatever, you put them in the right boxes, and they're just waiting there. That's also why this budget works so well for me. You won't fall into this thing called lifestyle inflation just because one month you have more money to spend than the other month, because every month you will receive the same amount. I'm not saying, by the way, that you can't get yourself a gift or a bonus sometimes. Just choose your moments. I sometimes have, especially with holidays, I give myself a bit extra. I don't buy a lot of clothes, but sometimes I get this spending spree and then I buy a lot at the same time and I pay myself a little bit extra. But I don't do that every month, obviously, because then it would be better to just put it in a fixed category. Now, why do I have so many different checking accounts and saving accounts? For me, it's control. It's a sense of control of something that is a little bit incomprehensible for our brain. Especially if you have a big project, that money might come in like right away in one big pile and you're thinking, wow, that's amazing. But then you're gonna have to live off that money maybe for a few months. The whole system around us is built that we get paid every month or every 2 weeks, whatever is the case for you. But as a self-employed person, you have to do that for yourself, and that's a little bit hard, and that's why I have this system. That's why I feel so much more control when I do it like this. I also purposely started out by sharing this video in this financial chapter of the Start Your Business, because this way you can see what needs to come in every month at least to run your business. And that way you can also keep that in mind when someone asks your prices for a certain project or prices for originals. Those monthly expenses are minimum and not maximum. There is no maximum, but it's definitely a minimum amount that you need to earn. If currently you are not daring to charge more for your work, and this financial budget that you just made does show you that you should charge more, maybe it gives you more incentive to be more confident about asking to charge more, because you can see that it's not enough. I hope this video helped you and helped you see your financial situation. I hope this brought something new to your business career, and definitely for me this was one of the big changing points in making all the financial stuff more comprehensible, just making small piles instead of one big pile. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.